All right. So how you doing today, man?
I'm all right. So tell me, what's your interest in expats? Is that I see you're a real estate SEO expert. What does that mean?
That's just some business stuff. That's search engine optimization. That's one of the ways we make a living. We help local businesses become more visible online so that they can get more business. So that's just an old little
Terminology.
It's
name that
what
I.
you used to. It's what you did before.
Yeah. It was
Okay.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about becoming digital nomads, as they say? Is that why you're interested in expatriates?
Yeah, well, now we're in Playa del Carmen. We were supposed to be in Medellin. Well, I'm David. This is,
I'm Cam.
yeah, so we were supposed to be in Medellin right now, but COVID happened the day before our flight, and we got stuck in Florida. Long story
Yeah,
short.
you don't want to go to you don't want to go to Colombia right now.
Yeah, I
You're
heard.
much better off in Mexico, in Playa del Carmen, because the Mexicans are much more hands off.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, in Colombia, they locked you in your house for
Wow.
4 days in a row.
Yeah.
When I was there during the entire quarantine, and I took a humanitarian flight back last month, right? But I was there for 5 months. They would let you out of your house for 1 hour, 1 day a week, and that was only to do shopping or to go to a drugstore or something. All of the bars and discotheques basically have been put out of business.
Wow.
All the famous areas like El Poblado had like 100 restaurants closed. And even now, so and they charge outrageous rents because that's where the expats would live. And now there's no reason to be there at all.
I
So
see.
you got to wait and see how it plays out. There's also violence in the street now. Um, I think it's largely like in the United States. Ostensibly, it's about the police,
Mhm.
so it's the same kind of dynamic. Although obviously, uh, which is interesting because in Colombia, these violent protests erupted over a rich white Colombian being killed by the police. But still, they've had that, and so I would wait and see what's going to happen in Medellin. I would wait and see
Okay.
because their economy will collapse too. And I know I've lived in Mexico as well as Colombia. I think the Mexicans are just more Mexican about it. It's less controlled.
I ain't heard it like that before. I'm more Mexican about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that they're just your beaches are open, right? I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
you,
Yeah.
you can go get a margarita somewhere, or
yeah.
not in Colombia. They're starting to. Like Sophia is one of the moderators of the page where you found me. She
Mhm.
has a bar called Patrick's in El Poblado, an Irish pub, and she's sneaking serving alcohol. It's like they put the cocktails in a red cup, and they put wine in a coffee cup,
Wow. They
and
got
they put a phony zero alcohol non-alcoholic beer bottle on the table to fool the police.
That's
But
crazy.
but I mean that's a huge risk.
That
That
is.
It is.
Medellin
It
mayor,
is.
the mayor of Medellin is like is like really into this, handling COVID. So I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh my
So
God.
so what did you want to know about? I mean, I could give you my summary of how I view expatriates. You saw some of the comments once you brought it up that there are a lot
Yeah.
of assholes. There are assholes who
Yeah.
are expatriates, right? So
Definitely. Definitely.
I'll give
Well,
you my I'll give you my overview because I've been doing this since 1972. I'm 66 years old, and I first went overseas. I guess it was 1971 or 72, a long time ago.
Wow.
okay. Yeah.
So, and I've done it in all phases of my life, from starving student to being in my 20s, to being 40s to now being retired. So I think I can give you a real overview. And I've lived in Spain, Italy. Argentina, the Dominican Republic. I guess I'm forgetting. Oh, Colombia, of course. I lived in so many places I kind of forget.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I think there's like 4 types of basic expatriates, right? The first type I'll call the student/digital nomad. And that tends to be somebody that's not leaving their country because they're hate the country or pissed off, or they don't have a negative reason. They want to see the world. They want to learn things. They want to have an adventure. They can work digitally. So they want to explore the world. Basically, these are people in their 20s.
Yeah.
Okay, so they sort of have a positive motivation. You guys probably fall into that category now. You want to explore and see things. The second type of expatriate you'll see, I'll call them the malcontented. And you saw them on the site.
Yeah. Yeah.
They hate their country. They probably were sued. Maybe they have to pay their wife alimony and they skipped out. I mean, there's a reason they left the country. They don't like where they came from. So they're negatively motivated. In that category, I would also put people who can't make it in their country with women either, or sexually or anything. So they also go to a place like Colombia or another country because for money they can get laid basically, or they have it easier to have a relationship. Basically they can't cut it at home with regular American women. And you see all that on the site. It's the truth.
Yeah.
So that's like that's the number 2. And there's a lot of those people in Medellin. A lot of those people. Okay. The third type, I would say, are people that work for government or work for multinationals. Maybe they were in the military. They're not leaving for negative reason at all. They were located overseas for their jobs. They became accustomed to overseas. They like it. So they're not leaving for negative reason as much as they see it as, there's a benefit to it. They're either doing it for their work because they're sent there, or they did work and they decided to stay because they like it. But they don't hate. It's not that they hate the United States or where they're from. It's a positive thing. And I think the fourth category are retirees. The retirees are people who know that for $1,400 a month, what they make with Social Security, they can actually live in Medellin. They can live a middle-class life as opposed to being at the poverty level and on SNAP benefits in the United States. So, so it's a plus for that. And also in all of those categories, I also will say this, there is a certain prestige, that's why they invented this term expatriate. There's a certain, people are generally motivated, I think, by prestige, right? In whatever you do. And you can be broke and only have that $1,400 a month, but if you are overseas and you're an American, there is a certain prestige to it. In the U.S., you would just be a broke-ass poor person. But there, you're an expatriate, people like that. So, I think those are the broad categories.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I like how you put that. That was nice.
Well, I've been in all of those categories, because I've gone through. So, I know it pretty well. But I've never hated the United States. I don't hate the United States. I went for study and explore, and then I was there for work. And now, that I have a fixed limited income, I know that I can live better overseas.
Yes.
I don't go. I'm in West Palm Beach right now. I didn't go out in Palm Beach the way I could in Medellin. It would cost me a fortune.
Yeah. So once COVID is over, do you think you're going back, or do you want to try somewhere else?
Well, I have a business. I bought a business there. I have a bar I bought in Medellin.
Okay.
In Envigado, which is technically a separate city.
Okay.
The Medellin drug cartel, by the way, isn't really from Medellin. It's from Envigado, and which still exists, and they're all there. But that's the best neighborhood. It's the best neighborhood because that's where all the rich criminals live. And so, Yeah, so there's no crime.
Wow.
You know, there's no crime. There hasn't been a murder in Envigado in 6 months.
Wow.
You know, that's unbelievable. So
That
that's a
is.
safe, because they're very wealthy. It's, you know, they're wealthy. It's the real criminal elite. When I say criminals, I mean the ones that, you know, really raking in the $1 billion from the coca trade. You know,
The ones that pay for the government.
yeah, the ones that are very tied to the government as well and everything. So they live there, and the police are great there. I mean, they don't hassle you. You know, I have a bar, so you know you have to worry about the police harassing you. It's not even just customers. You got to worry about the police, and they're very good. You know, they are not. You can just tell that they're not to stop people from a good time. They're kind of like the police in like a party town, like in Florida, where they let people like get away with stuff. They're, you know, they know that. So Envigado, I like a lot.
Okay.
But I like Playa del Carmen, though. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it is. It is. The weather is just too hot, you know, but
Medellin is California, Southern California, all the way. It's like perfect weather. I can't. The weather is astoundingly good.
See, like right now, we were going to do the interview out on the little what do you call it, balcony thing, so that we can show the background, like the ocean and all of that. But it's so hot. We were like, man, forget that. Like, I don't care. You know, we'll green screen a beautiful background or something. It's so hot outside.
Well, it's 70 to 80 degrees tops in Medellin. You don't need heat. You don't need air conditioning. We have a disco bar, actual dancing, and there's no air conditioner.
That's crazy.
You don't need air conditioner on a packed dance floor. That's how, you know, and you know the whole thing is just open air. Yeah, there's no air conditioning and no heat. The electricity is, you don't spend a lot on utilities. That's a big plus in Medellin.
Wow, see, that's the difference here in Playa del Carmen, man. In Mexico, period, we spend a lot of money on utilities, man. Electricity, the air conditioner, and all of that. That's like, it's more, our electric bill is more than it was in the US.
Yeah, you wouldn't have that. You can, you know, I was looking at the electric. I was staying in this little place in Envigado. I think the total utilities were never more than $70 a month. You would pay more. The most expensive utility you'll have is good internet.
That's crazy. Cause yeah, we spent like almost $400 last month just on the air conditioner.
No. That's your total cost for a really good apartment.
That's crazy. That is awesome. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're here only because the borders were closed, you know, when we were trying to get to Medellin. But I still want to check out Medellin. I still want to check it out. But we want to check out Ecuador, Vietnam, Chiang Mai, and what was the last one we were just looking at? Oh, damn, Portugal and Panama as well. So that's what I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, I lived in Panama. I forgot that one.
See?
I actually lived in Panama.
Yeah.
And I spent a great deal. I was in charge of Spain and Portugal for American Express in my life, and I ran it for a bank. And you know, I lived in Spain, but I traveled to Portugal all the time. I know a lot about Portugal.
Yeah. See,
and I know I've been in China too, but not Shanghai.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, we want to visit some place. We still don't know where we want to nest. Like after what happened with COVID, you know, at first we were sure because we were trying to get to Medellin for like 3 years. And then like the day before our flight, that's when it happened. And we were like, maybe God is trying to tell us something. And we got stuck in Florida for like 4 months, not knowing that the Mexican border was open the whole dang on time. We could have been here. But we still want to check out. I don't know if we're going to move there now, but we still want to check out Medellin because we just were trying to get there for so long. It'll be
Well,
great.
you got. I mean, I just can't see how you could do it before December, January. You know, and even then, I just don't know how it's going to be. I'm struggling now with my Colombian partners figuring out how do we open. They, you know, I've been paying rent on a place where we couldn't be open since March.
Damn.
So you know, I've been paying it. from, out of my fixed income. And now, and then they hit us with this utility bill out of nowhere. They said they had suspended the utility payments, but then they hit us with the 5-month utility bill all at once.
Wow.
I'm trying to figure out how, and then they have all these protocols. And then whenever a government like that has new requirements, it's about bribing. So they, it's going to be, they're going to want money.
Yeah.
So then we have to figure that out, this COVID protocols and stuff. So I'm even figuring out how the hell we open. And technically we can't open to the third week of November. And even then, I mean, I don't even know what that means. So it's tough. I would wait. I think Mexico is not a bad place to hang out in.
Yeah, it's cool. It's
You're bored. It's just the heat. It's going to get cooler now. You're in September.
It's the heat, man.
You were there in the summer. You were there in July and August.
We were here for July. I like everything else, except for getting gringo priced. But we're figuring that out. The more people we meet, that's gonna happen everywhere you go.
Well, yeah, I always had a huge advantage of I always spoke the language where I was, and I would never.
We're learning right now. We're still learning. We have a tutor.
You've got to be able to speak to the people that don't even speak English.
Yeah.
Like when I see these prices for these apartments on the Gringo page and anywhere, it's like ridiculous. I mean, it's absurd. I mean, I was paying 650,000 Colombian pesos for a place in Envigado when I went cheap, which was fine. I mean, it was fine. And that's, remember, it's about 3,600 to the dollar. So I was paying, what is that? $160 a month.
Wow, that's
I look at those gringo. They want $960 a month. $3.5 million income. They're living on another planet. And I had the best apartment in Envigado. I'm not kidding. Overlooking the church, and the park there was spectacular, brand new. And I splurged on that, and it was $1,600 a month, which still, again, it's 36. You can divide that by 3,600. And you get the idea. We're talking about less than 500, say 500 a month top. But I'm talking about the best apartment, with overlooking the church, and it's unbelievable. I'd say I had the best apartment for about 500 a month. So you've got to be able to, and not with an agency or B&B or anything.
Okay.
That you want to, if you can get to. That's another thing. As a gringo, they're going to want you to go to an agency. They're going to want you to have a guarantor. They're going to have all these requirements, which are crazy. That's one of the reasons the gringo prices are there, because they will rent to you without going through that. Mm-hmm. But you can find a regular Colombian who just, regular Colombians are not going to agencies or anything like that. So you can find it, but the language is really what you'll need. Yeah. What are you paying in Playa del Carmen?
1,700, but we're on the beach.
Yeah. So 1,700. Yeah. That's like you could live for 5 months for that.
Yeah. See, we're on this like resort type place on the beach, but the place we were at before here, we paid like 800.
No, it was
1,000.
It was 11. Like it was 1,100.
Yeah, like 1,100 for what was it? 4 bedroom, 4 bedroom, 3 bath.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have kids and stuff.
Yeah, so. We have a family.
Oh, you have kids?
And a dog.
And a dog.
And a dog.
Yeah, we moved everybody. You know what I'm saying? But
what brought on your big adventure?
You said what's going on?
Yeah. Why are you doing this with a young family?
Because we didn't want them growing up in America. It's not stable right now.
So you're doing it for a negative reason. That's it.
No. That's not negative. Wanting to live is not a negative thing, And,
but I mean,
not just the crime or the police brutality. Not just that is we wanted more freedom, like it's incentives that foreigners get in different countries to buy land and you know, to be able to farm and do all these different things that you have to jump through hoops and hurdles back in the Midwest where we're from and stuff, you know.
And then also, may I add, is that I grew up in a family that didn't get on planes, that didn't get on boats, never left the United States ever in their life. So this is my first adventure. Well, I've been on a plane before, going to Vegas, but I never been
Well,
out.
I would do it for an adventure, because I have to tell you, all the people in all of those countries you've mentioned are dying and fighting to try to get to the United States.
I
Of
know,
course.
yeah.
See, we know that, but
Because it's
were
safe,
raised-
because it's safer and it's more stable.
Yeah.
So you'll just, if that's your reason, yeah, I mean, do it for the adventure, but don't do it because you think it's safer and more stable than the U.S. because it is.
We went through that. We know that isn't really nowhere.
I know
without
you can
without
down
a crime
plane.
rate is nowhere. So we're not running from anything. We just it's levels to things. So it's a certain level that you can put up with in your life.
Have you thought about the Dominican Republic?
Yeah,
It's super close to the U.S.
Yeah, I don't want to go to. Nah,
You know Dominicans.
Dominicans and Haitians.
I have a couple of them in my family.
Yeah, you know, I don't have a problem with
I
them.
have land.
Yeah.
I own land in the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
I used to go there all the time.
You're good.
And being from New York, I grew up with a lot of Dominicans, so I'm very comfortable around Dominicans. The good thing about the Dominican Republic, one, it's got the climate. Two, it can be cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And three, they're kind of an anything goes kind of a, place for freedom and stuff.
They weather though.
What's wrong with the weather?
No, that's really good on the North Shore. It is hot in places, but it's actually really good on the North Shore.
Oh, okay.
I have land near a place called Cabarete, which is the windsurfing capital of the world.
Oh.
And there it's 5-degree variation in temperature.
Wow.
It's always perfect. And there's no hurricanes.
Yeah, we most definitely got a lot of places in mind. We're not married to no place.
Well, you got to put your kids in school soon, right?
No. We've been homeschooling our kids for like 4 years, even in the States. Like
All right, so that's good.
Yeah, so we were pretty
you just need good internet.
Prepped. We were pretty much already prepped for a situation like this before any of this. You know, like I said, we were preparing to move to Medellin for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Like 3 years.
But we got serious, in the second year?
Yeah, we got like serious.
Talking to people over there and saving and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And like he said, the COVID happened and we was stuck in Florida.
Yeah. And
we're in Florida.
We was in Fort Lauderdale.
Where were you in Florida?
Fort Lauderdale, yeah.
Oh, well, that's not bad.
No,
you didn't like Fort Lauderdale?
It wasn't bad.
It's just that everything was shut down. So it's like, we're from the Midwest. So it's like, okay, if you go to Florida, you want to go to Disney World or see something, not be stuck.
Well, Disney World's open now. Everything's open in Florida now.
They got to wear masks, right?
Yeah.
No, it's all open. Everything, movie theaters, bars, gyms. I go to the gym. I'm going to the gym short.
The movie theaters open?
Everything is open again. Everything.
They have to wear masks, right?
Nobody in the supermarket. And they ask you in the gym if you're walking between equipment, but it's pretty much anything goes now. It's sort of over here in Florida.
Wow.
Yeah.
That means we would have had to stay from March all the way up to now, where it's like.
Yeah, I was stuck in Colombia. I was stuck in Medellin, I'm telling you. So I was happy to get back to Florida to be able to go somewhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I heard about the severe lockdown in Colombia. I was like, whoa, I'm happy. Like, at first we were mad we missed our flight. But then when we were watching the YouTubers that were over there in Medellin, and they were explaining how they couldn't go anywhere, and they were just, like you said, like 1 hour a day, that's like prison.
Yeah, it was really bad. Wow. I mean, if you remove nightlife and dancing and football and the ability to party from Colombia, what is there? Only bad stuff.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And
You know,
then we was hearing that they made you quarantine in a specific spot, right?
Yeah,
For 14
if
days.
at first if they were going to allow people, you would have to do a mandatory 14
14
day
days.
quarantine, and
You
you
know
have
what? You
to
know what?
pay for it.
You know what you guys remind me of, and I think you would really love it. It probably never entered your mind, but what you're talking about doing is sort of what the people that sail the world do. They sell everything. They buy a sailboat. You live on the sailboat with your family,
Yeah,
and then you can stay. You know, you can stay 2 months someplace, then you sail for a month to another place. So you would be sailing in Mexico, and then you would sail to Panama, and from Panama you'd sail through the Panama Canal, and you'd cross the Pacific, and you'd stay in Vietnam, and your life. Basically, they work. There's internet, and people do stay in connection. It's amazing what you can do with technology now,
yeah,
and they're just sailing around. It's just a boat is a lot of work,
yeah, definitely.
but it's not 1700. But it's not 1700 a month. I mean, you're spending a lot of that money just.
This is just, we never lived on a beach before, and she never even been to a beach before.
I never
We're
before this time.
from the mid.
Oh, you want? Oh, well, I think it. I think that's great.
Yeah, we
so
I
do.
think you're doing the right thing. You got to do when you're young
yeah,
enough to
And
enjoy it.
since it's Airbnb and we're not locked into any
Yeah.
leases or anything, so sometimes we'll go cheap and get something 700 a month or something, and
Right.
if we see something on Airbnb that we like, that's a little bit more fancy, we be like, well, since it's only for a month, instead of
But
versus
you could be paying. You could be paying $250 a month, even there. I bet if you looked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah,
That's why
yeah.
we're trying to make our connection. We have a few people, but I'm trying to figure out what we're gonna do in January. If Belize is gonna let U.S. citizens there, because our 6 months is up in January.
Mhm.
So I don't know about getting leasing an apartment or signing anything yet, because I don't know how the visa thing is working yet. We haven't figured it out, and I don't even know if I want citizenship here yet. So right now, all I can think of is taxis and Airbnbs. That's what that's what we've been doing. I haven't really been looking for a permanent place or for someone, unless we
If
can
you
find
can
someone
get
to do a month to month with us. Then that'll be cool.
if you can get to the B&B owner directly, somehow connect to them outside the channel of B&B, I think you really get a good deal.
Yeah, he tries to do that, but I don't want to get scammed. So, like I said, if it was just me, then I wouldn't mind tossing up money, when people try to take me off Airbnb. But since it's if something happened, it's all of us without a place to go. You know what I'm saying? So he always tries to take me off the site. He's like,
Yeah, because
hey, I got properties over here, blah, blah, blah. And
yeah, I would do that. I mean, I did it because you'll get a way better deal.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I end up paying, actually, it wouldn't even been this high. But since I chose to go through the Airbnb, he had to charge this high. It would have been like $400 less or something like that if we didn't go through Airbnb. But it's just, I don't really know how to check the validity of their firm or their websites and all of that extra stuff. So
Well, you can look at their reviews on B&B, on Airbnb, they basically.
Yeah, I guess we'll probably do it some other time. But it's just okay, if they take the payment, it's just so many ways for them to, the Airbnb acts as your mediator. If you make a payment, it's like your insurance. If I pay him off of Airbnb,
I don't pay him ahead of time. I pay him when I go there.
Oh, you talking
I pay
about
him when I see it. Yeah, I go there and I pay him in cash. And I've seen the place.
Yeah. See, we were trying to do that before. In Florida, we was like, "Yo, can we meet up with you and then pay? Like, we want to walk around the place and all that." They were like, "Nah, you got to book it because there's other people that's requesting to book it, so you got to book
Not
it."
in these places with quarantines, you know, when there's no travel, like in Colombia, they have no Americans coming and booking. Those Airbnbs are empty.
Empty, right?
Mhm.
They're
Okay.
still asking these absurd, you know, prices.
Yeah.
Mhm.
See, that's another reason why he was dropping the price down on this thing right here because of COVID. Because it was supposed to be like 3 or 4 or something like that, and we were like, "What?"
Yeah, it was supposed to be. It's the original price is like
Yeah,
4,000.
it was like 4,000, but I was like, "Man, it's COVID." I said, "It's COVID right now." I was looking at the booking, and there was nobody like trying to book. I said, "I'm about to just ask him if he'll just take 1,700." You know what I'm saying? And we asked him, and I said, can we bring the dog?" And he said, "Yeah." I'm
Yeah,
like,
because the
"Wow."
dog was.
You even got a dog? You're going
Yeah,
to be traveling the world with your dog?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Wow.
yeah. The dog is a
No.
headache too. Like to get out of America, it was
I
hell
went
trying
through
to
a
get all
lot.
the
Yeah.
paperwork and all of that. We missed our first flight because of the dog. We actually would have been. Hold on, were we coming here or were we going to
We was
Medellin?
going to Medellin.
So we would have been in Medellin if it wasn't for ISIS.
Not for real, it was COVID because we had our papers. Remember, we had our stuff, and then we got stuck, and then we had to get our stuff again to get to Mexico.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. It was just a whole bunch of things happening trying to stop us from Medellin. That's why we were like, you know what? Maybe it's just not the right time to go because things just was happening every single day. We would fix that problem and then there would be something else that pop up and it was just crazy. But anyway,
So tell me about Portugal. Where in Portugal have you been looking?
it's a family that lives in Lisbon. I don't know if you know their YouTube channel. It's called Our Rich Journey. They teach how to retire early or something about retiring in your 30s or 40s or something. But yeah, we saw them doing little house tours in Lisbon, and they were doing the like cost of living and adding it up. The main reason I was interested in Lisbon, well, the weather seemed pretty nice. They said
The weather's good.
yeah, they have a decent health care industry there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a first world country.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
Yeah.
it's not like Latin America. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, you know, Europe is a first world country.
Yeah.
I would recommend Portugal.
Yeah.
For sure.
You know, we still might check it out. Another reason why they was talking about the diversity and how many expats and digital nomads, you know, like in America, what I do online and marketing and all of that, it's such a lonely thing. Like you don't like nobody congregates, nobody that no entrepreneurs really congregate unless you go to like a once a year summit or something. So I wanted to check out these like anytime you're on YouTube and you see the expats hanging out, they're in like Thailand or a place like Portugal or even Medellin or something like that. So it was like, okay, is the, you know,
Medellin has like cheap rental spaces where you rent, the digital nomads rent like a little office.
yeah,
Common areas, where it's like a campus.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So we're just trying to find like-minded people. Like we were so to ourselves in the US. And you know, we're trying to be a little bit different, live a little, you know. Yeah, so that's pretty much why we're doing pretty much everything that we're doing. We're tired of everything we were doing in the United States. Life was so predictable and yeah, I don't know. It's just
Well, Panama is like that. Panama City and like a place called Coronado, which is an hour. It's a beach town, an hour from Panama City. That's loaded with expats and people working there. And Panama City is a, you know, a real international area because of the banking.
yeah, and
You might like Panama for that reason. It
yeah,
has a lot of Americans.
We were looking at Boquete, Panama, the other day.
Yep.
They were saying that the weather was similar to Medellin, like 75.
Yeah, it is.
So I was like, "Ooh, that sounds good too," you know. And they use the U.S. dollar, and it's not expensive really, and it's up in the
It's
mountains.
more expensive than Colombia.
It's more expensive than Colombia.
Yeah, I'd say 25% more expensive than Colombia, but yeah, I mean, on the other hand, it's going to be way more expat friendly for you to live there.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. We're gonna check these places out. At first, we were so fixated on Medellin. We were sure, like, I want to go to Medellin. We're gonna move to Medellin, and we never even been there before. But just off of the research and what everybody was saying. But now, like you said, since COVID, we don't know what it's gonna be like now. So all of the things we learned before, we can pretty much scrap that. You know,
Costa Rica's nice too.
yeah, it rains too long though, man. Like,
Depends where. I mean, it depends where. But it sounds like you like spring type Southern California type weather. I would think. Have you thought about Baja California in Mexico, Rosarito, Ensenada? Because that's going to have the perfect weather and beach.
nah.
That's going to have 75-degree weather, no humidity, and a beach.
Yeah, all we gotta do is just continue to do our research, and yeah.
And think about it. You can drive 15 minutes and you're in San Diego in the United States.
Yeah.
And that's important. You can go back whenever you like. Shop for things you missed.
I don't want to go back. It's like
Yeah, but you could.
Yeah.
If you might want a jar of peanut butter sometime or something.
That's a good one. A jar of peanut butter. Yeah,
I'm just saying,
it's definitely things that we can't find, that we're used to, and I know it's going to be a lot more of that. And I bet it would be easier if we knew the language too, because a lot of the things
in Baja you can live illegally. You don't have to worry about any paperwork. They don't even they don't even look at your passport.
Wow.
And technically, if you don't go, as long as you go as far as Rosarito, which is like 60 miles in, they don't require anything. I mean, you come and go, and there's a big plus to that. I mean, most of the Americans living there are there illegally, but there's no way to know they're there illegally because they don't even look at your passport when you come in.
Wow, so you just walk in the door, huh?
Yeah, you walk in.
Yeah.
And you can go back. I'm telling you, whenever you like to San Diego, people go to the supermarket. People in California drive back to their home in Mexico. It's there's advantages to that, healthcare wise too.
Yeah.
There most of them get their car. They keep their car and driver's licenses. They pick a state like South Dakota where they just give it to you in the mail and you don't need a physical address. So they register their car in South Dakota and get a South Dakota driver's license.
Wow, that's a hack.
You'll find you'll have a problem with bank. How are you going to do banking and things like that? I mean, you're going to want a U.S. bank.
Yeah, we still have the banking. They just do like we have the access to the online banking system, and
For now, but that becomes more difficult.
yeah, it does. It does. We're gonna open up a bank account in what is it called
Santania or
Santania or Santa Dar or something.
yes,
It's something like that. But it's like the most common one. We see it everywhere. And we have a few connections, and they're gonna go with us. And they said that's the one, Santander.
Yeah.
Where's the country you're opening the bank account in?
Mexico.
Yeah, it's called Santander.
Santander. Yes, it's called Santander.
Santander.
Yeah.
Santander.
But can you open an account? Don't you need to be a legal resident there? Aren't they? They're going to go through a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
No.
we can't open what do you call it? We can open a savings account.
Instead of a checking.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can't open a
Checking.
like a full checking.
But that stuff's difficult. I mean, it's the little things like banking. It's the little things like how do I move money? It's little things like that. Your driver's license, everything. So much, you almost want, if you have a relative or somebody, it would be really good to keep some sort of address in the United States.
Yeah,
So you could have U.S. banking and driver's license.
we have addresses.
Yeah, we have relatives still there that refuse to leave. But most of our income though comes is from
It's earned in cyberspace.
yeah, pretty much. It's not like like we don't get a check from like a physical.
I understand.
Okay, like we
You
get
do like PayPal payments.
yeah, that type of stuff. PayPal, Stripe,
Well,
that
that's what the
stuff.
digital nomads do. It seems to me you want a bank account in Panama.
Probably, yeah. I definitely want to check out Panama just based off the weather. I know that sounds
Or
small, but
you don't like the Dominican Republic, but Dominican Republic, you have US dollar accounts.
I mean, I don't dislike the Dominican Republic. It's just off the little. If I go there, I'm pretty sure I like it, but just off the
I'm just
little
thinking in terms of
research
your
oh, yeah,
banking
yeah,
needs down the road.
yeah. Yeah, I just haven't, off the research I've done, and I'm married, so the only thing I hear good about the Dominican Republic is the women. Other than that, since I can't take
Well,
more than that,
that's why people go. That's why people go to Medellin too. Don't tell them. That's why they go to Medellin also.
yeah, I bet. Yeah, that's why I just stay close to her. I don't have no male friends, for real like that, cause like even my dad
So
is a bad
she'd
influence.
kill you.
Yeah, pretty much. So, just based off of retirement funds and pension, what are the top 3 places you would recommend a person to live?
I would say Mexico, Colombia, and Central America, Panama, Costa Rica.
Okay.
Now, if you have a little bit more, then you look at Europe, like Portugal, like you are.
Is
Now,
it?
I don't know I don't know Vietnam. To me, see, I speak those languages.
Yeah.
I even speak Portuguese. So for me, I wouldn't look at Vietnam because I'm obviously not Vietnamese and I don't speak the language. The fact that I can actually live like a normal person in a Spanish-speaking country is why I prefer that.
Yeah.
And I also like the proximity to the U.S. One day when you're older, and I do, by the way, I do recommend pay into Social Security and Medicare, even if you don't have to, like if you're qualified, because then the ability to come back and get that fixed U.S. income one day is really worth it. And you're 62 before you know it.
Yeah.
So it's worth doing it. It
Yeah.
really is. It's worth doing it. You can understate your income if you want or whatever the hell but I would stay in their system. I would stay in that system because I love for example, one great thing about Mexico is you can just go across the border and you've got your complete Medicare coverage one day, with everything. That's a big deal.
So is it any states in the United States that would be cheap for a retiree?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the U.S., there are some places that are cheap. I mean, you can almost guess where they are. I think where you left from in the mid part of the country.
Hold on. A combination.
You mean nice places.
Cheap and nice, like where something that you can get the same quality of life in a Panama or a Medellin.
Once you're 62, the world changes or even 55, because all of a sudden there's subsidized housing, cheap housing, but you have to be age restricted. Okay. For example, I'm going to tell you now, I'm in West Palm Beach. There's some construction here, but I'll show you. You see the water?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the water. And this is my bedroom here. See my
nice.
big, yeah. I pay $661 a month, utilities included.
Really?
On the water.
In West Palm Beach.
Yeah. And that's Palm Beach. When I showed you the water, that's Palm Beach. Wow. I mean, I can see Trump's Mar-a-Lago from here. I mean, I can walk to the beach. So when you're older, all of a sudden you have this great stuff. And then even the healthcare. Like I have Medicare and I have a Medicare supplement plan that costs, I pay like $220 a month for healthcare, but I have everything. you know, you don't have to worry about it. It's like amazing, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's G.
you know, so yeah, I think of that now. Now you're a long way from that, but I do want you to keep that in mind. I live here as cheaply as I could anywhere in the world. What's more expensive here is if I want to go out to the big restaurant or something like that. Plus, I'm living like an older person here, which isn't good. You know, because I'm taking advantage of my age. I'm surrounded by old, boring people. You know, so when I'm in Medellin, you know, I own a bar. I'm in like in the middle of action.
Yeah, yeah, that gotta be
I'm
awesome.
surrounded by young people, and nobody perceives of me as older. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you know, so it's like crazy. I'm like a desirable commodity. I would have people lining up to, you know, to go out with me. I mean, it's like crazy.
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, you know, and I prefer Latin. I prefer the lifestyle, actually. I prefer what you're saying, the freedom. You know, they're much easier going, less rules-based society on the whole.
Yeah, yeah. Also, America is just so fast. The United States is so fast paced. It's hard to slow down and enjoy anything you're doing. Even if you're rich, you just still feel like you're in a race. You just never slow down. As soon as we got over here, it just felt different. It just felt like I didn't have to compete with the brand of clothes I wear or the type of car you drive.
Well,
Like
you have instant status just being American.
yeah, yeah.
Remember that. Just as an American in another place, you have that. You know, so you do have the prestige of being an American when you're overseas. A lot of people go for that reason, and they're an expatriate.
Yeah,
You are
it does
standing
help
out.
out. It helps out. It helps
That's
out.
what I said. I mean, that's what I said. I like it. I'm just another broke ass person here in West Palm Beach. I'm like poor in West Palm Beach, Palm Beach. I'm surrounded by 40 billionaires. But in Medellin, I have a play, you know, I have like, looks like I have money and, you know, and it's a whole different situation. That is true. But you might consider Baja California, I'm telling you, because you can get to San Diego whenever you want, and yet you're paying Mexico prices for things.
Really?
And you have that lifestyle. And there are a lot of expatriates there, a lot of retirees more than anything else.
Okay.
Because Southern California is so expensive. But then you have that fantastic Southern California climate.
Yeah, that's important to me, the climate.
I mean, I tell you where I would go. You know, if I didn't have ties to Colombia, meaning, you know, I would go to California. I would live in Baja California. That's where I would go, personally,
Oh, man.
based on everything I know.
It's a little bit too close to me, man. I gotta feel like I'm not home anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's just gonna feel too close to me. I don't want it to where even when I was living in St. Louis, we always lived in a county. I wanted it to be as difficult for people to come over our house as possible. I didn't want people to just walk next door and like just hanging out at my house. Like I wanted them to have to pack a night bag and catch the bus and be like, woo, I'm only coming to your house once a
St.
month.
Louis. I had a business partner, a guy named Carlos Martinez. He's a pitcher for St. Louis. They call him the Tsunami. Remember the Tsunami?
Nah.
Carlos Martinez.
Nah. His name sounds familiar, but I wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, when did you live in St. Louis? He's a starting pitcher.
We left St. Louis in 2014, but I was
He was in
just.
St.
I stopped.
He was in St.
sports.
Louis then.
Yeah, I stopped following sports in like 2001, 2002.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like once it started seeming like they were like buying the Super Bowls off when the Patriots beat the Rams and it was the fakest fumble ever. I was like, okay, that's fake right there. And then all of a sudden the Patriots is just the #1 team for the next 4 or 5. I'm like, okay, yeah, get out of here. It's just like boxing. They just rig everything. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. I just don't. I just stopped following sports.
You know, you might look at. I mean, I don't know this well, but I mean, you might like a place like Croatia, which is on the water. It's got a good climate.
Croatia?
It's cheap.
Really?
Yeah, you'd be surprised. Croatia. Look it up.
Yeah.
It's basically like a Mediterranean country. It's on the Adriatic, but it's that'd be interesting. I think you're so where are you so Medellin is where you're definitely going next, it sounds like.
It's maybe, maybe the longer we're in COVID, the more we're looking at other places and stuff, the less appealing Medellin is sounding because of what's going on there. Like the expats that are still there are making it seem like it's just miserable. So
It
I
is
don't know.
miserable. It is. But everywhere's going to be like that, right? You saw
Yeah.
Fort Lauderdale's a great place, and it was miserable with the.
Yeah, but that was like right in the U.S. You know, some countries are acting like nothing's going on. Like Vietnam, they just recently really started locking down and stuff because they had only
Yeah, they didn't have many cases.
recently had their first deaths. But up until like a month or so ago, they didn't have any deaths. They were like the only place that didn't have any deaths. And even Mexico, like,
Well, Mexico's getting
they don't
hit
care.
hard.
They don't care. Like, even though they got high numbers supposedly,
Yeah.
they don't care. They don't close up and like you can still do a lot of things. We still go to the zoo. We still, we're going to the aquarium sometime this week. So it's it's places that you can still do things, and I don't know, man. I have no idea where we're going next. Reason why I was interested in Vietnam is for real estate. They were talking about how cheap it is to build properties from scratch. Like you can take 10,000 US dollars and have a place built like that's going to be worth around like 100 grand. You know what I'm saying? And
You could do that in Colombia.
really,
You could do that in Colombia if you not doing gringo prices. $10,000 you could buy the land and build something. 10, 15,000, 20,000 for sure.
yeah.
I really mean it.
Wow. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm
could do
just so interested in stuff like that. I wasn't thinking like that when I was in the U.S. Everything was just so fast paced. You're just worried about paying the bills, just worried about this is coming up and that is coming out. You can't dream. You can't, so that's one of the
Colombian the typical monthly salary in Colombia is about $250 a month.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to go
So
somewhere
you can
where I gotta
dream.
work. That's why I don't want to go somewhere where I have to work harder. It's perfect that we're from the U.S. because we can take what we already have and live decently in a lot of these other places, like you were saying. Like I tell people all the time, like they like, okay, David, how much do I need to save up? How much do I need to? I'm like, just take what you already have. Like my grandmother and my mother, they have disability, and my grandmother, she has Social Security. I'm like, why are you still in the U.S.? Why aren't you? Like I saw a few retirees doing interviews in Panama, and they just looked so happy. I was like, you could just take your income. Like we're going through all this crap trying to get out the country, and all of that. I was telling my grandmother, you could just leave, and we're going through all this crap. You can just pick up and go,
Yeah, I could too. I can too.
Yeah, see, but she's
the only reason I was in Colombia, and I came back 3 years ago because there was a waiting list for this place that's so cheap that I'm paying. It's on the water. And it was a 3-year waiting list. I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to have my place for, $600. It was $610 a month at that time, with all utilities included. I couldn't pass that up. Okay. So I came back.
Now you're just going back.
And I spent half the time, but I spend half the time away. So this is just my base.
Okay, yeah. That's another thing. We're going to be traveling. So we're really just looking for a nesting place, like a base, like what you just said.
How old are your kids?
We have a 15-year-old, a 10-year-old, and an 11-year-old.
Oh man.
And our dog is.
So what does the 15-year-old think?
Everybody's.
They must hate being homeschooled. I'm sorry.
Nah, I mean, at the beginning, yeah, but that's because they wanted to get into bad things at school. pretty
Yeah,
much.
exactly. I think, how are they going to get into the good, bad things?
Good, bad. See, we don't want those things. We don't want
But there
those.
are, but there are good, bad things. You know, when you look
Mm,
back and you
that's an oxymoron.
well,
Nah,
you know what I mean.
yeah, I know what you mean. But
Socialization.
we're teaching them family. Like when they go to school, their teacher is their parents. They go to school for
Is
8
the
hours.
15-year-old a boy or a girl?
She's 15. She's a
Yeah,
girl.
she's a
She's
A
girl.
boy, a boy,
A
a
girl.
girl.
a girl. Well, you know, I think a 15-year-old boy in Colombia would be having a lot of fun. I have to. The girl you'll have to watch. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's going to be easy. But he would be having a lot of fun as an American in Colombia. He would be meeting a lot of people.
Yeah. See, yeah, that's why we brought him out to be, closer to us, man, because in America, you don't own your own kids, man. Like it's just
Well, you
so.
know, in Boquete, where you could have a lot of land and you could build a house, and it's the beautiful climate you like, and it's a 40-minute drive to the beach, and you could have your own little nest and commune there. You could do that there in Boquete.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We were
I
checking
mean,
that.
Medellin is a big bad city. I mean, Medellin, make no mistake about it. Medellin is a big bad city, and their classmates will, if they went to a public school, their classmates would be prostitutes. They will be, everybody smokes dope.
Wow.
You know, it's dirt cheap. Weed's dirt cheap. Everybody does it. There's coke. There's all. I mean, that they live for a party. They would be exposed to all of that. Medellin is a city of 7 million people, right? I think it's 7 million people. Is it second biggest city? So Medellin's got every bad thing that you would have in any bad U.S.
Any
city,
other
except it's
city?
cheaper.
Yeah.
It's
Uh-huh.
cheaper and easier to get.
Yeah.
And but if you went to a more isolated place, which seems to me maybe it's better for you. And you know, if the kids have to go do something bad, they're gonna have to ask permission or find a way to get there, and you'll know about it. That's a better move. I mean, Boquete would have that.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. It's sounding real good. Boquete sounds real good to me.
You could do it in Colombia too. You could do it in Colombia. They're going to be, you know, you could buy outside of Medellin or in a town outside of Medellin
Yeah. What's
where
that
land's
one
cheap.
town called? Where a dude with Pinky's Barbecue live. Ace went out there. Remember, he stayed at that nice place by the lake and everything, and it rained a lot. Start with a Q or something. It's not far from Medellin. It's like right outside of Medellin, and they say it rains a lot there, but it's beautiful and it's real green there.
Well, I mean, you can do that. I mean, you could live again, yeah, in one of the mountainous areas, the perfect climate, and you could build you know, a nice home or buy a home for under, you know, for $80,000, you would have a great place. And the kids would be isolated there. And, you know, you could, because you can work remotely. You don't have to be in that city.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that's
it's possible.
yeah, Guadalupe.
And
Guadalupe.
Boquete, yeah, I mean, you know, and now I guess you watch big screen TV, you watch Netflix and everything. So everything is kind of there if you want. You could be isolated.
Yeah, we're just always on our computer or the phone, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like TV, the TV kind of just sits there now.
Yeah.
Never thought
We molding our kids into entrepreneurs.
we're trying. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Well,
trying.
Panama, you get the dollar bank accounts. You've got, I did cataract, sir. I had a cataract. I had my surgery done in Panama. You know, it's going to be a third of the price. It's top. I mean, Johns Hopkins has a hospital in Panama City, for example.
Really?
That kind. I mean, you would have top medical. You've got tons of Americans. It's extremely easy to retire or live there. They have U.S. bank. They have U.S. dollar, as you've said. There's
I forget.
pluses, and it's
Um,
actually listening to you. If you're worried about with your kids and the dog, man, Boquete is good or something equivalent in Santa Marta, but not Medellin. I don't think Medellin is for you. Listening to that.
that's what I'm saying. And Santa Marta, though, I heard how hot it is, so I don't know if that one would be good for me.
Well, it is, except I lived in Santa Marta, by the way. I lived in Santa Marta. I like Santa Marta, but Santa Marta, you can go up toward the more you two of the 5 highest mountain peaks in the world are in Santa Marta.
Really?
I know it's hard. It's as high as the Himalayas.
Mm.
So there are snow-capped peaks in Santa Marta. They're 2 of the highest peaks in the world. Nobody managed to climb them to the 1930s. And the more you go up the mountain, the cooler it is. So there's a place called Minca, for example,
Yeah.
Minca, which is Boquete, basically, except it's 40 minutes from the beach and the heat of Santa Marta. That's not a bad place. Minca, look that up. That would be a town with the weather you like. Somewhat isolated, but only 40 minutes to go down into Santa Marta and the beach.
Yeah.
So that's in Colombia, Minca, Minca. I like Minca. And there's a lot of expats, a lot of people travel there. Waterfalls, very nice.
Wow. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know which place we're gonna go to first, but we'll probably touch all of those. I also want to check out Bali and
Yeah, well,
and Cambodia as well. But I heard that Cambodia is like one of the hottest places ever. Oh,
yeah, you don't like heat. If you don't like heat, so Vietnam, Cambodia, Vietnam, and you're talking about heat and humidity.
good.
Sounds like you like a nice, dry, spring-like climate.
Yes, definitely. I mean,
You like the mountain. You're gonna like the mountains.
yeah. See, I don't mind the rain. I'll take rain over snow any day, but I don't want it to rain all the dang on time either. You know what I'm saying? Consistent.
I recommend your next trip, and the flight will be easy to do. I think you should fly to Panama City, and I think you should check out Coronado, and I think you should check out Boquete and David, which is the other city you would have heard about, which has an airport.
Yeah, I heard.
I'd check out that next.
Okay, cool.
I think that's really more for you than Medellin. I mean, people go to Medellin to have sex and drugs, and as well as the climate. But if you've read that expat community, if you see what they're saying and why they're there, there's a lot of troubled people that are there.
Yeah,
I mean, really are.
I can tell.
I'm gonna take your advice.
I can tell.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just telling you, Medellin is a big, bad city. It's got a great climate.
I had a great feeling, and it's kind of like, it reminds me of, like, to me, like, it depends on per se, like in the States, like Florida, they have certain beautiful places, but if you got bad people there,
Like Miami.
Enjoy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Miami's a big, bad place.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's better and it's calmer than Medellin. I'll tell you right now. Medellin is a nice climate, but it used to be the murder capital of the world, and it was the murder capital of the world. And there's no question about it that every evil, bad but fun thing is there.
But fun thing.
And it's not hard to find.
Yeah, I heard that you'll be walking down the street and they'll just be offering you drugs, like,
they did it here.
Yeah, they
In
do
El
it.
Poblado, yeah.
Yeah, they do
In
it.
Poblado.
They do it here too.
Yeah.
And they do it in the US. I mean,
But
that's everywhere.
he didn't walk up and say, "You want some crack?" He was like, you want some weed?"
Yeah, they do, boy.
Yeah, I mean, they figured, in Santa Marta, when I first arrived, I was always offered everything, and they'd have a weekly special. The Indian, it's really interesting. It's called the Mamo, the indigenous people, the Mamo, the chief. They make the trip once a week with all the good coke, and bringing it down the mountain, the Sierra Nevada. and they'd hit the beach to sell it to all the tourists. And you'd always know when the mama was in town, because that's when they were hitting up with the big
Wow.
drugs. Say, yeah. Now, once you live there, and I looked more of I was adapted, they never asked me anymore.
Oh, okay.
But they know a tourist is coming. A lot of those tourists come for drugs and sex. That's why they're there.
Yeah, that's big business for them. Big business.
So a guy in particular, like if you were walking around by yourself, you are gonna be approached for those things.
Yeah, I remember when
But we won't tell Kim.
Yeah, I was looking at him.
What?
Oh, who wants coke and sex?
Hell no.
He's laughing.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It's not free.
It's hard to get him to drink a Smirnoff.
Right. I don't even drink.
That's right. Well, they have cheap booze. That's true. They got cheap. In my bar, it's you could have a Smirnoff for must be how much? Let's see, $1.70 probably, $1.50 something. Well, anyway, well, listen, you know where I am. You can always ask me anything. I'm curious as to how your other interviews will go.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll keep you posted. And this was a very interesting and informative interview. That's why when she told me about you, like everything you said you've done in your life and everything in that post, it was like, yeah, we got to talk to that guy right there because you have a wealth of knowledge, man, and that's awesome, man.
I'm very appreciative.
Well, and I tell it like it is, honestly.
Yeah. We wouldn't have it no other way, man. We don't like filter. The other interview we did an interview with a girl named Crystal yesterday. Was that yesterday or the day before?
It was yesterday.
Okay, yesterday. And so hers is gonna come out sometime this week too. I don't know. We haven't finished editing or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, she was a spark plug too. Like she said whatever came to mind too, and it was very entertaining. So I don't like being censored or filtered. So I don't want anybody else to censor or filter themselves either.
We're gonna upload it as it is.
Yeah. So that's awesome, man. All right, man.
So thank you so much, Walter.
Okay, bye.
All right, man. You enjoy the rest of your day, man.
Okay.